I just want to tell the hardest part of this entire project is probably the time management. I know you talked about how it's time consuming and it takes up a lot of our time and all the extra hours we spend, but we actually have to meet certain deadlines. We have to turn in documents to UAH, and they give us feedback back and stuff like that. So meeting those deadlines gets pretty difficult sometimes.
This project is also very helpful because as we're, on up in our high school career, we're looking towards college, and in college they don't just, babysit you anymore and just tell you everything. You have to manage your own time and work on things your own way, and this teaches you how to manage your time, how you can learn best, and how to just prepare yourself for the environment that you're about to encounter.
Well, you talk a lot about working in teams and your different project manager, your engineers, your marketing people. So I'm pretty sure that team collaboration and working out disagreements, because I'm sure there's been some disagreements on how the payload should be designed or how the probe should be. So what have you learned from working together and as a team to get a job done?
Well, my team, we've worked really well together, actually. I was kind of surprised, at the beginning you're like, which I'm a senior and two of us are juniors, so I didn't really know them as well as I knew the ones that were in my grade. So I wasn't really sure how it would go, but it went really, really well. I'm proud of them.
Well, on the team, everybody has a specific job. If one person does not do that job, then everything practically falls apart. That's why it's really important for people to keep other people on track. Like the chief engineers, keep the engineers on track, and the head of the CAs keep the CAs on track. The project manager keep the chief engineer and the head of the CAs on track. So that's why it's so important to keep everybody on track, so they know what they're doing and so they can get things done.
Okay. You talked about the hardest part of your design. What did you all feel was the hardest part of your design, your project?
The hardest part would probably be coming up with the shape itself, because you've got to take into consideration however much, and with ours we wanted to use as many probes as possible, so we had to determine how we can make it less mass and everything, so it was really difficult for us.
All right.
Did you say so it was really difficult for us again? Or?
Mm-hmm. Just that last little part.
Okay. So it was really difficult for us, but in all, it's been doable thanks to our teachers' help. Like our teacher keeping us on track and us working together as a team.
Our payload itself was we kind of did the same. We bounced around through a lot of different shapes. That was really our part, because knowing a lot, and it's like you said earlier, we did get some criticism, some feedback, and this kind of helped us determine, because we were posed with a question that we didn't think about before. What's going to prevent your payload from tumbling? And we hadn't thought of that, so that led to a third design, which we were able to build to prevent that and to help carry out our mission requirement.
All right, I'm going to talk about, you have science and you have math classes. Generally speaking, you have a math class over here and you have your science class. But in this class, you're having to use your science skills and your math skills together. So talk to me a little about the importance and what you've come to realize.
We have to make presentations, make PowerPoints, written documents. Most everything we do is on the computer. And personally, I'm not the most computer knowledgeable person, so I had to learn about that and just learn how to do different things on the computer like that.
I think what's really become most important, even more than our science and math earlier in it, would be our public speaking, because we've had to practice that a lot with having the CEA and everything, and it's just everybody's public speaking has kind of improved. We've progressed a lot throughout it.
And one of the things I think you're going to realize is your public speaking, your presentations, no matter what career you're in, that's probably going to be a big important part of future careers, especially in STEM. Somebody's going to have to design a project, but they're going to have to talk to other people about investing in their design and in their plan. And then, like you said, designing anything from a t-shirt to marketing materials. But you've got to talk to people, you got to walk through the PowerPoint. So that's that's an important part of not just this class, but the real world and the workforce for the future. What were you going to say?
I was going to say it's also interesting, with the community engagement, it's a lot more engaged this year. It's because it was been real recent that they've actually stepped it up on outreach and required you to do more in public, and, things like this and other things, talking to people, doing demonstrations, and it's a neat experience.
Well, you have a community event actually coming up. You've got one during the school day and one at night. And so give me a little bit of feedback about what you're going to be doing during those presentations.
Well, we're basically going to be showcasing our stuff. It's going to be like we're going to be showing them, we'll have told them our mission and objective just like here, and we'll actually have a little model of our probe and kind of show them and teach them a little bit about how it works, and it's really neat.
Well, I hope that you've invited a lot of the business and industries. I know we have many, we've got auto manufacturing, just a lot of different industries in our community, and they all use robotics and engineering in some form or fashion, and they would be so excited to see what you're doing and know that right here in Cullman, Alabama, our students are really, we have gone and taken top awards for the last 5 years, almost 4 years, I guess. This is the 4th year. And so I know for a fact that our top winners have actually gotten to go to Washington, D.C., and they've got to make a presentation to Dr. Green, who is the head of planetary science. And that's pretty exciting to be with the head person of NASA in Washington, D.C. So, what do you think? How would you feel about having that opportunity to meet with Dr. Green?
I think that'd be a good experience.
It'll be really rewarding. This whole thing is going to be really rewarding. It will help us through college and everything. With public speaking, with the math and science we've had to use, with learning how to do research, everything that we've done so far will help us throughout life. And it's just really rewarding experience.
Okay, having learned what you've learned this year, give me a little feedback on how you felt about this program before coming into it. Were you a little nervous about it? Were you thinking, oh, I don't want to do it? Or were you really excited about it? And then how it's evolved and how you feel about it now after going through this process. And I know you're not quite finished yet, but you got the biggest bulk of your research, of your design. Now it's fine-tuning everything pretty much. So kind of just go around and tell us how you felt at the beginning and what your thoughts are now.
Well, I had friends that did it last year that was a part of this program, and so I was hearing them, all the hard work they had to do and the just the intense stuff that they had to go through, and so I was kind of nervous and kind of standoffish about it, but I did it because I wanted to get the experience and learn about what it really was, and so I did it, and I'm really glad that I did. I've enjoyed it a lot.
I think one question that they talked about that we didn't go over was the documentation, like the details of everything, that you really have to document everything carefully in your notebooks, because you're going to present this big chart, as I recall, with your weight, with your mass, your trajectory paths, your material that the probe's going to be made out of. And so if you're not very detail oriented, you tend to become more detail oriented when you go through this process.
Yes, you have to be, and it does get very specific, very detailed, because it won't be off, and she'll even help us, Miss Jackson, if she guides us through it, like she'll warn us, slap on the wrist, don't do that, no. We have to, it does have to be very specific and fall under specific constraints.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask you one more question. You've got a ninth grader that comes up, it's on campus, and they come up to you and they go, tell me about this engineering project, and should I be a part of it?
Well, I would say definitely. I think that everyone that's willing to do it, not everyone can do it, because you have to be a determined, hardworking person, you can't slack off in this project at all. So I would tell them if they're willing to do it, then they definitely should do it.
If they ask me that, I would ask them back. You know, I'd ask them questions back because this is a great class. That it is good for, but it like I said before, it's not for everybody. It takes certain kind of people to be in this class and to be able to do it. So I'd ask them about themselves, you know, and if maybe they don't, maybe they can, but if they're determined and they want to work hard and they want to reap the rewards, I would definitely tell them it's a good choice.
You know, recently Brian Neesmith came back and I spoke to some of the seniors. All right, did I have any? You were there, and he talked about working hard, but working hard with a focus and a purpose. And I think that's what Inspires teaches you, is you've got a definite purpose and a focus. And so when you're working really hard, you're successful. And so I wish you the best of luck. I would say that really it's not about luck because y'all worked hard. It's just preparation meeting an opportunity. And I look forward to hearing back that you get an opportunity to go to Washington, D.C., and that you're within those top awards, that you will get to go meet with Dr. Jim Green, who's over planetary science. And when you graduate and after you leave, we want you to come back and speak to some kids on campus and talk about where you go from here. Because this is really graduation from here. It's just the beginning of the next phase of your life. And so we want to hear back from you. So thank you for sharing with us. And I'll see you in April? Is that May? Okay. So April is the one here on campus, is our open house here. And then May will be your open house at UAH. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.